Kamu nagpaminaw sa BYAR 765 SMNI Radio Cebu, kapartner mo sa balita o serbisyo.
Serbisyong kapartner ng bayan. Kapartner ng bayan. Ania ang tulumanong mo paila sa lain-laing ahensya, organisasyon, personalidad o individual nga andamugahin sa ilang serbisyong kapartner ng bayan. Atong sayron ang mataglaka nga nabuhat na ug angay pang buhaton alang sa ikauswag sa matag komunidad ug sa nasud sa kinatibuk-an. Serbisyong kapartner ng bayan. Ania na ang atong kapartner nga makauban karon.
Media. I am Camille Bondad, General Manager of Mont Property Group. With me today are Engineer Ranel Pelpinosas, our construction head, and Atty. Rongo, our legal counsel. Thank you for accepting our invitation. We are grateful for your presence and your willingness to listen to our side of the story regarding the flooding brought about by Typhoon Tino to Cebu in November last year. Over the past several months, a number of accusations have been directed to Monteras's the Cebu project, the most widespread being that our development contributed to the flooding that affected Liloan, Kotkot, Mananga, and surrounding areas. Today, we are here to present the facts, address misinformation, provide clarity based on independent science. We extend our condolences to those who were affected by that tragedy, those who lost lives, homes, and livelihoods. The suffering of those communities weighs on us, and they deserve answers grounded on verified facts. As many of you heard, the University of the Philippines, specifically the Institute of Environmental Science and Meteorology, conducted an independent hydrological study of the Guadalupe and Kinalumsan River basins. The study was concluded independently by UP's own researchers. We would like to share the key findings. First, on the cause of the flooding. The study found that Typhoon Tino was an extreme rainfall event, bringing 428 millimeters of rain within just 24 hours. This is comparable to the Typhoon Ondoy, which devastated Metro Manila in 2009, and remains one of the most severe flooding events in the recent Philippine history. The primary driver was the intensity of the rainfall itself, compounded by a system-wide conditions across the broader Cebu area. Second, on the geography. The study confirmed that Monteras's de Cebu sits within Guadalupe and Kinalumsan watersheds. The areas most severely affected, like Liloan, Kotkot, Mananga, and surrounding communities, are located in an entirely separate and distinct drainage system, which is several kilometers away from our development. Water from Monteras's site does not and cannot flow into Liloan, Kotkot, Mananga, and the other impacted areas. These communities sit in different watersheds with their own distinct hydrological conditions. Third, on the performance of our water management system. At the time of the typhoon, we had constructed 18 detention ponds, with a combined volume nearly double our ECC-approved specifications. These structures are designed to capture rainwater before it flows off the site, holding it back, releasing it gradually, rather than allowing it to rush rapidly downhill. The UP study found that these ponds, our ponds, reduce the risk of flash flooding of our site by up to 100% with an average reduction of 78%. They captured up to 99.74 of the excess rainwater generated within our site during the typhoon. And finally, the finding that we consider the most significant. The study concluded that the presence of Monterasas de Cebu development with its detention pond system in place actually helped and reduced water runoff compared to the scenario where the site had no development and no ponds. If those detention ponds have not been built, the risk of flash flooding flowing off that site should have been greater. The study does not simply find that our project did not worsen the flooding. It finds that the system we built helped reduce it. These are the conclusions of the University of the Philippines. It is the same study that was subsequently presented to the relevant government authorities who conducted their own separate technical reviews and assessments. We have cooperated fully and with every official inspection and investigation, and we will continue to work closely with all the regulators and concerned agencies. We recognize the gravity of the affected community's experience, which is why we are working with the government, the people of Guadalupe, and the stakeholders to contribute to the solution to the system-wide flooding challenge. We firmly believe that if the wrong cause is identified, the real problem will never be solved. The communities of Cebu deserve interventions that address the actual drivers of flooding and not misdirected ones. The Mont Property Group will continue to move forward with this project carefully, responsibly, and in full coordination with the concerned agencies. We believe that completing this project, including the full build-out of our detention pond system, will contribute positively to the flood management in the area. That belief is grounded in science. With your help as esteemed members of media, we hope that the facts presented here and that will be seen and heard by everyone. Like we've mentioned earlier, we want to set the record straight and fight all the misinformation going around. All we have presented here are facts verified by both independent experts and government regulators. We will exercise our legal rights to protect the name of the Mont Property Group should we encounter any further misinformation about us and our projects. We hope today we have provided a clearer and a more accurate picture of what the independent evidence shows. And we are now ready to take your questions. Thank you.
So, with that, we set the record straight. Ano ang magiging mensahe nyo sa hanggang ngayon nagiging peace ng mga residente at ang mga netizens sa nangyaring pagbaha sa Cebu City na pilit umano na i-connect sa Monterasas project, lalo na ang mga celebrities na hanggang ngayon ay nananawagan pa rin ng justisya sa mga namatay after ng baha.
We understand that question and why it's being asked, no? So allow us to answer. Number one, the UP study showed that our project, Monterasas de Cebu, is really located in a different watershed. So our water inside here and that comes out of our project does not flow or did not cause or contribute to the flooding in Liloan. And then it will, because it is in a different basin, so it will never flow from one basin to another. In terms of helping the community, so we've also reached out to like other adjacent villages. So with the help of, we actually entered an agreement with some village associations to help them improve in terms of their drainage system.
Ma'am, you mentioned something about protecting the name of Mont. Will you press charges against those who proliferated misinformation or try to track them down?
Yeah, actually we've seen a lot of misleading content, and it circulated online, and some actually appeared digitally altered and really taken out of context. So what we want is for everyone to be vigilant and rely on verified data and actual site conditions. That's why we're actually opening the site for transparency. Our defense against misinformation, of course, is transparency and data. For those who had spread malicious intent, of course, we are carefully reviewing this, and if need be, we will be doing the applicable legal actions for it.
Good afternoon, Artie from Martin Cebu. The Vice Mayor of Cebu City, Vice Mayor Thomas has raised his remaining firm in his stand, actually, that although he's not anti-development, he just said that the development must improve their detention pond, as it was not enough during the Latino. Given this strong statement from our senior city official, what should the public trust their citizens over the concern of the Vice Mayor?
Of course, we respect the concern of Vice Mayor for his constituents. It is valid, and really accountability is what we should, what the public officials should demand. And our position is straightforward. Hold us to the science. If any independent data show that our project caused the flooding, we will answer fully to it.
Based on their resolution, the development, according to their resolution, it does not attribute it solely to the development. So it means it does not state excuse it from being the cause of flooding. So are you willing to accept accountability if ever, or any compensation mechanisms for the affected residents?
In terms of compensation, of course, if there is, we will not be committing to presupposed causation that the evidence does not support. So what we will commit to is transparency transparency and cooperation with the different government agencies and active participation to a long-term solution. So if again the evidence, the scientific evidence demonstrated that we have contributed, we will answer to that fully.
BAYAN does sa Cebu. Attorney, study po may na latent cease disorder and stoppage order o kasi kung sa isulod na ni ulit may mo issue na ang iyang construction.
Yes, that means that there's no more legal hurdle to the resumption of the construction activities by the corporation. But I understand Engineer Ranel could explain that more. The corporation hasn't started or resumed the construction activities yet. It's still, I think, focused on constructing the detention ponds, the other detention ponds, no?
Actually, we already have we already finished on the rehabilitation and then construction of additional ponds. Actually, on the verge of Typhoon Tino, we already have 18, but as of now, we already have 23 in place, strategically in place inside. So moving forward, we will be starting to construct for our development because we all the requirements already been submitted and reviewed, and that is why the stop work order has been lifted.
If I may add, basically our position is since we have received the lift order, so the project will already continue slowly, again with caution, and of course with continuous monitoring with the government officials.
And
My question is to Engr Ranel. Sir, Joel Seno from BAYAN. Yung detention funds natin, enough pa ba? If enough na ba yun? Or we have to construct more para hindi na maulit yung
our detention funds during the Typhoon Tino is more than enough. It is 81% at the time, more than the design required. But as of now, we already have added 5 more. And then we will continue to assess on the project, and then we will continue to collaborate with other agencies or the consultants if needed pa ba yung additional. But our detention fund are strategically kung saan yung valleys, andun talaga sila. Yeah. We are sufficient naman based on UP study kasi lahat ng lahat ng data natin sinubmit talaga natin for them to run and then sa model nila.
We just have room for 2 more questions.
Good afternoon. Dear Sir from One News. I'd just like to ask if one of the concerns actually is for the project because it's flooding in the lowlands of Guadalupe. And how sure are we that we will not be causing flood in Guadalupe, especially in the lowlands of Guadalupe? Anyone have answers?
Based on the UP study, flood levels downstream during the Typhoon Tino, they did contribute.
I mean, in the future, are we sure that we will not be causing flooding in Guadalupe?
No development or no one can assure na zero, kasi kung mag-promise tayo na parang dishonest tayo, no development can say na wala nang baha in the future. What we have done is continued yung tawag nito, development dito sa site para research or calculations if enough pa ba yung natin. But as of now, yung detention funds natin is more than enough, 81% more than the design required capacity.
Johnson from Raptor. So there were 3 things that the BMR mentioned in the Senate hearing on the role of the Monteras's property. The first one being more than 700 trees based on the 2022 inventory, and then of course the report, the reply of Monteras's was that that's not true, that it was the shrubs and other growths. So still that question stands with how to invest in trees. The second one was on the 10 violations of the 30 conditions that were in the ACC, and the last one was how Monteras has failed to secure a water discharge permit. So we just want to ask how all of these did result already.
For the legal case, I have Attorney Mars answer it.
Yeah, with respect, thank you for the question. With respect to the tea cutting issue, right? the DNR Centro filed a complaint before the Office of the City Prosecutor of Cebu regarding that matter, and just recently in March, the case was already dismissed. So the investigating prosecutor basically made the finding that there was no sufficient evidence to indict the respondents. So that matter is already closed, and the company is now focused on engaging with the DNR in getting to the bottom of things, ascertaining the cause of the problem, and coming up with concrete solutions for the benefit of the community. So we would, rather focus our resources and attention on those matters, constructive matters, than, get entangled in legal matters and litigation.
And for the other two items, yes, it has already been complied with.
Hello, I'm Polly Brohan. I'm with Insider PH. A lot of landowners are looking forward as to when they're going to start building their homes. So how soon can they start development and construction periods?
Yes,
for lot owners or individual lot owners naman, they are not included naman for the stop work order. So all individual lot owners who wants to construct their houses for the completed areas naman, they are allowed naman. What we have issued in the stop work order is the new development and the other areas. We will proceed because the left order was already been released. Yes.
Sir, good morning. Personal Freeman and Bondad News. Since the stoppage of the project since November, maybe yung mga nagawa ng development since November 5 until now. And then, kumusta pa yung mga detention funds? Meron ba mga nasira o meron ba going to repairs or anything?
For the detention funds, as I've mentioned lately, way back January pa po yung completion ng mga improvements, and yung dimension 1 na partially damaged, last November pa po yun, before December, tapos na po yun. Improvement, tuloy-tuloy yung improvement natin. Whatever you see na needs improvement, talagang ginagawa natin yun.
If I can add, so inside the project, yes, there are detention ponds that had to be strengthened more after the event. So it has been done and it has been reported already. Outside our community, we have been working together with LGUs and the barangays in terms of how we can help and contribute to a long-term solution. So for example, we have been working with the barangay and some associations with the clogging and clearing operations, and also introducing practical improvements of their drainage system. So in one association, we have entered a MOA with them, basically helping them in a long-term solution or a practical solution should the event should flooding happen.
Okay.
Last na.
Maukadto ang tulumanong serbisyong kapartner ng bayan. Ubani kami ninyo sa sunod na higayon, matag Lunes hangtod Biyernes sa susamang oras, 1:00 hangtod 2:00 hapon. Dinhi lamang sa DYAR 765 SMNA Radio Cebu.